Alright guys, welcome back to Urge. Alex, Jameson here. I'm Jameson, he's Alex. I started to point myself when I said Alex. Like, Alex! That guy.
That's me.
So yes, that is us. We are Urge. So, today we're going to be talking about the second of 3 Sidekick options, which is the Spellcaster. If you're not sure how Sidekicks work, we did a video that's like the introduction or intro 101 of Sidekicks.
Will that be like on the screen somewhere? Like
make sure
like there,
you check that out. If you're familiar with adding class levels to NPCs, to monsters, it's a similar kind of thing for the Sidekicks because you do pick a lower CR monster and then give them levels of Sidekicks.
One half or less.
For that, make sure you check out the video for a little bit more on the details. But basically, on this one, you become a Spellcaster Sidekick. And with this, you have a few options. So, Alex, start us off.
All right, we're starting off. So, you look at the spell block, spell thing, like other casters get. Essentially, in terms of number of spells and everything, they're essentially a half caster.
Right.
But they do get cantrips because most half casters, the original 2 half casters don't get cantrips. The later one, aka the Artificer, does get cantrips. Artificer busted. Yes. Fact check true. So that's the whole spellcasting tables there. It shows you break down the spell slots and everything else. Simple enough.
You get spells.
You get
more spells as you get higher level.
Bingo. For real. Bonus proficiencies. You choose one proficiency of choice between wisdom, intelligence, or charisma. The 3 caster stats.
Surprise, surprise. In
addition, you gain 2 skill proficiencies of choice: Arcana, History, Insight, Investigation, Medicine, Performance, Persuasion, Religion. Okay. Psychic gains proficiency with light armor if it's a humanoid or simple or martial weapon in its stat block. It also gains proficiency with all simple weapons.
It's kind of interesting because they get the light armor, whereas,
wizards and
no armor
don't.
So interesting on there.
Helps out with their survivability. And the next thing, which I think is very interesting that it does it this way, but I kind of like, especially for people who maybe new kind of thing. It's another way to kind of help maybe have somebody dip a toe in playing a spellcaster, let them play a psychic spellcaster, to kind of get the feel of it.
Yes.
Is it choose a role for the sidekick? Are they going to be a mage, a healer, or a prodigy? If it's mage, they choose off the wizard spell list, and their caster ability is based on their intelligence. Healer, they get the cleric and druid spell list to pick from with a wisdom modifier. And prodigy, they actually pick bard and warlock. Surprised it's not bard and sorcerer specifically. That's interesting.
It is interesting.
Because I really thought
there's a lot of overlap, I think.
And it probably
when you have both of those spell lists, I think there's pretty much everything.
It probably is true. With the charisma, obviously, based caster, depending on how you want to flavor.
Right.
But all that's going to change is the flavor and your spell list choices.
I think it really is interesting that it combines 2, like cleric and druid. There's a lot of good spells that clerics get that druids don't get, and vice versa. So, access to both. That's very interesting.
Big old list.
So it is only half castered, I guess. So
yeah, it's true. There's that. Spell slots, again, you follow the table as far as getting more of them. Your spell save DC and your spell attack modifier work exactly the same way they would with a regular character.
Right.
You could get a spell casting focus just like you can with most casters. And you get your ability score improvements just like you do with most base classes at 4, 8, 12, 16, and actually 18 instead of 19.
Yes. So interesting choices on there. And then, of course, at level 6, you get potent cantrips. You can add spellcasting modifier to the damage it deals with any cantrip. Easy enough, just increases the floor damage on there. Level 14, choose one school of magic. When the Sidekick casts a spell of that school by expending a spell slot, the Sidekick can add its spellcasting modifier to the spell's damage roll or healing, if any. Again, raising that floor up a little bit. This is kind of interesting. It's when it casts a spell to the school, you can add its spellcasting modifier to the spell's damage roll or healing roll. It doesn't specify. Now, this comes up a lot when it comes to AoE things.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't specify to one instance.
On one target.
You get it to everything. Though, again, it is a half caster, so take that with a huge grain of salt.
But it's a very large grain, though.
Yes.
That's a big
large grain, but it's still salt.
Yes.
And then at level 20, capstone ability. Taking damage can't break the Sidekick's concentration on a spell.
Fun.
So, haste.
Sorry.
Permanent haste.
Hold person.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, they can remake the save for that.
Still, but
I mean,
or
it's a level 20 Sidekick.
Dominate person.
Well, I mean, still, but It is. It's a level 20 second. You know, if you're a level 20 characters, I mean, how much does that matter? You know. But I mean, that's it. It's a very simple, very straightforward. Mm-hmm. You do get lots of spell options because you're picking, unless you're a wizard, you're picking between two.
But wizards have
lists.
the longest spell lists in the game, so
yes. So there is that.
You've got plenty of choices. But I do like the fact that they let you blend lists for 2 of the 3s. Like you have more spell list choices unless you pick wizard than any other base class would ever have access to.
Right. And you know, I think of the 3 options, this one is probably actually my least favorite, just because they are only half casters. Yeah. Some of these spells can be pretty impactful, so giving lots of spells to an NPC kind of party companion could be a little bit wonky.
Yeah.
Because, some of these things can get a little out there, especially when you have things like, I don't know, a Bard and Warlock with, actually, you're getting Counterspell with 2 of the 3 of these options on here. So, giving NPCs Counterspell, you're the DM, you do what you want, but
He's not doing it.
I would not be like, they already have enough chances to get counterspells or whatever on their own, so I'm not going to give them.
We only have at one person our party has access to
at this point, yes. But trust me, that's more than enough.
But 3 of us have access to whole person.
Yes, exactly. So that's always fun. No more humanoids. Anyways, so there's that. Be careful with what you do as a DM, giving your players. Just make sure that's.
But this again, is that true? But again, we're at the time of recording this. I'm working on writing a holiday themed, Christmas themed one shot in which all of the players will be playing sidekicks.
Right.
But to kind of keep it maybe simple, more fast paced, so we can kind of get, because I'm gonna tell myself a little bit. That's okay. Last time I ran a one shot, it went for 7 hours.
Yeah, it was more like a 2-shot. In one.
Yeah, it really does. Because, I had some complex, drawn-out combats with interesting mechanics that took time to decipher and things, and we had 5 people all going on with one-shot characters that hadn't been playing, so they're not as aware of what their character can do normally.
Yes.
But it was a blast, but it was way too long. So, because of that, I've learned from my mistakes. We're going to do sidekicks, and we'll be done in like 2 hours.
Yeah, that's the way it's done. So nice and simple and easy. Definitely a good choice for, I think, a new player if you want to get them into a game. Or maybe someone just suddenly is like, a friend comes in from out of town, and you don't have time to make a full character. You're like, here, just take this and
you could definitely have one of these like sitting on the side for like a visitor to show up and like play the sidekick kind of thing.
Right, and it's not very hard to get into, and you're only a spellcaster or a half-caster, so you don't have tons of spells to learn. And there's not really a whole lot of abilities, so you just have to know the spells.
Yep.
So it is what it is. Definitely interesting, but again, it feels
it's the least unique of the 3 because it's a half caster with less abilities than like what a paladin or ranger would have.
And again, just be careful what you do as a DM. With spellcasters can get kind of crazy, so just be aware of the potential with that. But
party of 4, 3 full casters.
Yes, that's gonna wrap it up for this one, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications. You know if our new videos are coming out. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about the sidekicks.
Woo!
And if you want to play as one, with one, add one to your campaign, let us know how that goes. Always love to hear your stories. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.